Breaking news over the summer break. Max Verstappen will miss several races due to breaking both his feet in the Las Vegas GP. Verstappen has also announced he will retire from F1 following this season, but intends to get back in the car and finish the year.
You heard the news. Verstappen calling it an F1 career at the end of the season, as he's also out for injury after last episode's accident in Las Vegas. Callie Mayer gets the call up from Ferrari to replace Verstappen going into the Belgian Grand Prix, and for a one-off special race, Lance Stroll returns to Formula One in place of Mayer, while Connosport values other options and it looks into the best moving forward scenario for that team while Mayer is over at Ferrari. Now, what an episode we are in store for there, seeing what Stroll can do again back behind the wheel after putting his tennis career aside to come back into Formula One. And we roll through into the Belgian Grand Prix weekend fresh off of the summer break, which really the big news was Verstappen. He's got an injury. He is retiring at the season's end. He's lost the passion, the interest here in Formula One. It's been a rough couple of seasons with Ferrari for Verstappen as well. And on top of that, obviously he's going to miss a bunch of races anyways with the lower body injury. Well, we heard confirmation, 2 broken feet. So we likely won't see him back until the very end of the season. Maybe a race or 2 or 3 at the most is all he is going to be able to compete in at the end of the season. I wanted to get Ollie Bierman in the career mode, and maybe someone else can help me, but I was using the mod that you use to put, driver roster changes around and move drivers from F2 to F1 and whatnot, and it was apparently the updated one with the new F2 drivers, but I couldn't find any of the F2 drivers from the 2023 season in there, even though it was updated to apparently have them. So unfortunately, the Ollie Bierman plan that I had is going to have to set to the side unless someone maybe watching knows maybe a solution to that. In the meantime, Callie Mayer gets the call up to Ferrari. We roll through into qualifying. What can Mayer do in her first drive at a legitimate top team? Of course, Ferrari has had so many issues. Will it continue this weekend? Hopefully not for her or Lewis Hamilton here in his final Belgian Grand Prix. Q1 actually get out-qualified by Lance Stroll, but Mayer goes P6 while Hamilton goes 8th place there. Gasly, Lawson, Sato, Vesti, and Zhou all out there in Q1. The pair of Williams Lamborghinis at the bottom of the grid. Q number 2, my first lap was not quick enough. It was only P11. I do not want to go out in Q2 3 episodes in a row. Last episode it was expected because I suck at Vegas, and we proved that. Finished 7th after a 3-second time penalty coming to the line with contact from Hamilton and whatnot, or my contact on Hamilton, and I was just driving desperate at the end of that race, just trying to get what I could. But fortunately, I would find the time that I needed to advance into Q3. We found it right towards the end of the lap, last sector specifically, nearly half a second gain. That puts us in P6, while Piastri, Stroll in the Connosport, Tsunoda, Vips, and Ocon all out. Kind of feels weird saying Lance Stroll again in the F1 career mode, but it's only one episode. He's not going to be in the car going into the next race. Connosport's already got other plans in place for that. Q number 3 now. What can we do? We only had enough time to put in 1 lap. I kind of mistimed it when I went out of the box there. I was hoping to do 2, but yeah, all I'm going to get now is 1 lap. My teammate of Drugovich only managed 8th place. Not what you want to see there for our Red Bull Ford teammate, and that kind of sets a precedent for what might be coming for myself here. Now, is it going to be a 9th? Is it going to be an 8th or a 7th? Somewhere in that area. We're about to find out, as we're only, looking about 1/10 off of P6, which is not great for us, as we exit the final chicane to the line, and it's going to be P8 in Spa. We outqualify our teammates, but not much better. As you can see, Mayer P7, Hamilton 4th, Jackson, Albon, the McLaren duo again on the front row. Let's get ready to go racing in Spa.
Welcome then, as we take a step back into the nostalgic golden days of motorsport. Spa is unashamedly a throwback, and all the better for it. Climbs, drops, sharp turns, chicanes, sweeping high-speed corners, all while taking in some of the most beautiful scenery that Europe has to offer. This might sound like a travel brochure, but it's not. It's a race day. Welcome along to Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps is a 4.35-mile tour of the Ardennes countryside, with 9 rights and 10 lefts, giving us a grand total of 19 corners. Average lap speeds in the dry can reach about 145 miles per hour, but without a significant improvement in the conditions, we're not going to be seeing anything like that today. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Aiden Jackson lines up on pole position, just edging out Alex Albon, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Hamilton, Russell, Leclerc, Mayer, Golden Boy, Drugovich, Doohan, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Sonoda, Yuri Vips, Ocon, Gasly, Liam Lawson, Sato, Vesti, and Zhou Guanyu. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Lewis, you advocated for Callie Mayer to get a chance at Ferrari today. What's the expectation?
I'd say top 7, with no mistakes, should be the goal. I think she can accomplish just that.
You hear Lewis Hamilton telling Natalie Pinkham the expectation for Callie Mayer, looking like light rain for the majority of the Grand Prix, with a potential switch up right at the end that could cause some strategy drama. Let's get ready to roll here from Spa.
Right then, the formation lap has started, and I must say the weather conditions aren't the best today for visibility and for grip. As each driver performs this lap, they'll be wanting to settle in and concentrate, as this race, in these conditions, will require a lot of focus.
Obviously, everybody on intermediates as we're all ready to roll for this wet race here. McLaren's on the front row.
As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
All right, team, not a great qualifying effort for myself or Felipe, but it's raining, so I know we can drive forward.
What did they used to call you again? Was it the Rain Master?
Yeah, that's it. We're ready to roll in Spa, and yeah, I mean, Rainmaster, of course, we are always really good in the rain, and we've also had good history at the circuit here in Spa. Things have kind of always really felt like they've gone well for us here. So obviously I'm hoping we can do that again here today, as Vegas didn't go our way. We knew it wasn't going to go our way the whole weekend, and we lost our point lead to Aiden Jackson, who also is set to lead the field to the green. Now it's going to be 5 red lights, lights out, not a quick hold in the rain on the intermediates. It's a poor start from my teammate Felipe Drugovich there. You can kind of see everyone getting clumped up together. Not a great launch from myself either. Albon, though, leads through turn 1. Jackson second place now as we slip and slide on the exit of turn number 1. Jack Doohan in the Connor Sport to my left side, but we stay ahead of him as we get ready to go up through Eau Rouge and Radia now. As you can see, everybody already single filing out here, getting through here safely now in these tricky conditions. Really don't want to be side by side through that section of racetrack. I'm under pressure again from Jack Doohan. He's going to look up the right side as we head down towards the heavy braking zone, side by side up there in front of us as well. Callie Mayer trying to get after it against Charles Leclerc, and now I'm going to get right up to the back of that Ferrari now. And Mayer currently runs P7. Hamilton said the goal for her should be top 7. No mistakes, keep the car clean. What can she do behind the wheel as Hamilton right now runs in 4th place in his final Grand Prix in Spa. Now, of course, the final half season of his Formula 1 career following this summer break. Now, as you can see, myself slipping and sliding here, making some mistakes, and the gap opening up to the cars in front here now as we continue to try and stick with them. But yeah, I mean, starting lap 2, I mean, now a full second between myself and Callie Mayer. Coming into this race, how many consecutive races have we seen Ferrari have issues from either spinning or mechanical failures? I feel like at this point we're like 4 or 5 consecutive races where there's been a Ferrari that has dealt with at least some major issue. It's been a horrific season for Ferrari, and I didn't think it could get much worse, but it has. And of course, now they've lost Max Verstappen. They're losing Hamilton at the end of the season. They're losing Verstappen not only from this injury now, but as well at the end of the season. He's calling it a Formula 1 career as he will focus in on other racing disciplines. Still a young lad, Max Verstappen is. He's going to, of course, continue racing for a long time to come. As you can see now, starting lap lap 4, we have run down Calimere, and we'll go up the inside here, wheel to wheel, with the Ferrari as we head down towards the braking zone, just a little bit before that 100 marker. In these wet conditions, you want to really slow that car down, and now we get ahead, but Mayer tries to do a little switchback, gets back up the right side, but we have enough power to get ourselves back out in front there. So P7 now, Mayer drops down into P8, Jack Doohan, then my teammate of Felipe Drugovich, 9th and 10th place. 1 second between myself and Charles Leclerc. So now the goal is to try and close in on him. We got yellow flags as well here in the back half of sector number 3. It looks like it's one of the Andretti machines. I believe it is. It might be Pierre Gasly. And yes, sure enough, Gasly pulling over with a mechanical failure. Day over there for the Frenchman as his continuous struggles with this Andretti team continue on. That's going to bring out a virtual safety car. When you bring out a yellow and you have it raining, it's almost a given that you're going to get at least a VSC and sometimes a full safety car, but it was a very short-lived VSC that didn't impact anything, so we were right back to racing within about 30 seconds here now, and we were really able to capitalize on the VSC ending. We were really solid on the Delta, not 100%, but we were good enough to really make a gap closing in on Leclerc there. So we were able to close up within now the 1 second range. Of course, no DRS with these weather conditions, so that's not going to matter. We're going to have to do it the hard way. Got to get the elbows out, got to find a way past Leclerc, and unfortunately for me, it wasn't happening. He actually opened the gap back up to now 1.3 seconds, and it doesn't help when you're slipping and sliding around the circuit. And I would do it again. Lap 9, same corner, another slide, a tank slapper, just like we did a lap before here now. So the gap 1.2. But we have the speed. This is a corner right here that we're really closing in on the cars in front. Turn 1 and the last chicane. Really good opportunities specifically for our car to get closer. And I took my momentum through turn 1 to allow me to close in even further on Leclerc. And now within a few car lengths, but I didn't get quite close enough to make a move. But then we go through the part of the track where I start losing time again. And then we get to the back half going into the first part where I start gaining again through that final chicane. Through turn 1. And now as we start lap 11, my opportunity was here. Close to Leclerc. I'm actually going to abuse the track limits there a little bit. A bit of a lazy exceeding track limits there, as I just didn't need to go over that far. But here we go. Up the inside of Leclerc towards the braking zone. He kind of goes towards the right there. A little bit of contact between himself and I, but we're going to try and continue around the outside now on the inside, and we're going to get clear of Leclerc and take the position. Another spot gain, but we're really not showcasing two things. I said at the beginning of the race, we're usually really good at Spa. We're not really showcasing that. We're really slowly moving forward, and we're usually really good in the rain. So you put those two together, I feel like it should have been a no-brainer that we should have been driven up into the top 3 by now, chasing down the pair of McLarens. Well, we're about halfway through this Grand Prix, and we're only up to P6. And as well, as we come through to the end of lap 11, our pit window was now open, and rain, I was being told, was going to end in about 10 minutes. And I didn't know if staying out on the inters was the best call to try and stretch it, so I decided to come in to the pit at our normal pit window. So we'll come in, put on a brand new set of intermediate compounds, and get back going here now. So we're going to come out just behind the Mercedes right there of Lando Norris. Lance Stroll still on track just behind us. Calimere made the pit stop in her Ferrari, and she has continuously been hanging with me, putting pressure on me as this race has gone on. So really doing a superb job so far in her Ferrari debut, I would say, now as we continue on. So now to lap 13, everybody else making their pit stops, including my teammate of Felipe Drugovich. Now, as you can see as well, Aiden Jackson had actually stayed out an additional lap, so he's just trying to maybe get lucky with a safety car, a virtual safety car, which maybe that can happen. Hamilton slow, and it's going to be day over there for Lewis Hamilton. The Ferrari struggles continue. Another mechanical failure.
Awesome stuff, guys. I love it.
Hamilton loves these scenes on the radio. They're not thrilled. Virtual safety car comes out again. Fortunately, it was short-lived enough to where it doesn't benefit the leading Aiden Jackson. We're already going to go back to racing here, so he's still going to have to come into the pits here now and do his stop and come out behind Alex Albon, basically. There's also a countersport up there of Lance Stroll that I believe still has to make a pit stop. I believe that's Lance Stroll anyways there, but nonetheless, everything cycles through with the pit stops and whatnot. We're up to P5 at the end of it all with Hamilton's retirement and whatnot. That allows us to get another another position out of it. So 2.5 seconds to George Russell, 4.5 to Lando Norris. Mercedes showing some pace here today, which they've been lacking recently. So nice to see that again, as we did see Norris put together a decent effort last episode as well in Las Vegas. But now lap 15, let's go through the grid.
Another through the grid, and another lead from Alex Albon. He maintains a 5-second gap on his teammate of Aiden Jackson as Mercedes run third and fourth.
Is Albon finally starting to find that consistency again? He held on for the win in Vegas without any errors. Can he do it again in Spa?
Callie Mayer runs sixth in her Ferrari debut in place of Max Verstappen. A great day for her to showcase her abilities in a top car. Of course, the big news this week is Verstappen announcing retirement at the end of the season, but he hopes to still compete before the year is over.
I think we all saw the F1 departure coming, as Max just didn't seem to have the passion anymore after his struggles with Ferrari. It will be unfortunate not having him on the grid next season. However, I look forward to watching him compete in other forms of racing moving forward.
How about an unexpected quiet day from Owen? Usually he's great in Spa and wet conditions. However, the pace hasn't been there today.
I think it might just be that Red Bull got it wrong this weekend, as Drugovich has struggled as well. He runs down in 9th currently.
Lance Stroll, in his one-off F1 comeback race, runs 11th right now. Not a bad effort from the Canadian.
Lance has had an impressive tennis career since he left F1, and he just recently won his latest tournament.
And there you have, through the grid, now on towards the end of lap 15, Lance Stroll, and it was made known he was officially here. Yeah, there he goes around. Lance Stroll with a spin from P11, and he's going to try and get it back rolling, and he is all over the road. So in Stroll's return in a one-race deal with Connor Sport to Formula One, it's going to end in pretty rough fashion here now as he's all over the road now. But the focus back in on the cars in front. Alex Albon leading, looking for win number 3 or 4. I think win number 4 at this point on the season, as Jackson's just not got the pace for him. But Jackson has, of course, such a points advantage over Albon, who continues to just throw at some points in this season with so many self-spins that have taken him out of races. We continue to close in on George Russell in these closing moments of this Grand Prix now. Less than half a second between himself and I. Still 3.5 seconds to Norris, who just has a better pace right now than his Mercedes teammate. He's put an additional second between himself and George. Now, as we continue up through Eau Rouge and Radium, the rain has stopped at this point now, as they're going to see a swing to the right side, wheel to wheel, with George Russell down towards the braking zone. We're nearly clear, not quite, and he's actually going to lunge back on the left side here into the braking zone, but we're able to keep it pinned around the outside. He has to back out of it. Up into P4 we go, and I think that's going to be as far as we get, because we still got 3.5 seconds, but now 2.7 seconds to Lando Norris on lap 19. Albon continues to lead, chasing Aiden Jackson in second place, but Jackson is not going to be chasing anymore. Albon's done it again. He's self-spun from the lead. How many times can you do that in one season? Oh my goodness, if that wasn't the, end of the run for a championship potential for Albon, I don't know what is. He would get it back rolling and maintain P2 right in front of Lando Norris, but Jackson takes the lead and drives away at this point in these closing moments of this Grand Prix. Another self-spin, another choke from Alex Albon, and that's the exact reason he is not going to win a third consecutive title this season. We saw the cracks opening at the tail end of season 2 with the self-spins from Alex Albon, specifically in Abu Dhabi, if you guys remember that episode. But he had such a points advantage in the last half of the season, he was able to survive and hang on, but it's continued into season 3, and it's turned into a bit of a disaster season. Yellow flag again, and now we got another spin, and it was Charles Leclerc, and here's the replay. There he goes and does the same thing Alex Albon does. So he goes around in a rough season as well for Charles Leclerc. At Trackhouse Racing continues now as he would get back going and maintain points, but that was it. Aiden Jackson would come through on this final lap here to get the victory with an 8-second advantage. Win number 4 on the season after a winless season 5, and he extends his championship lead over myself as well as my teammate of Felipe Drugovich. Now, as we exit the final chicane, a disappointing day. P4 But honestly, it's a good season when we're disappointed with 4th place here, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, it is what it is. We got some work to do going forwards. However, now Felipe Drugovich going to get driver of the day. Let's go see the podium celebrations.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for McLaren today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
What a race, honestly. It had a little bit of drama littered in with the choke from Alex Albon, Lance Stroll, Leclerc. As the conditions improved, we saw more mistakes actually happen on the racetrack, which was really interesting. But McLaren still get the 1-2, just the opposite of what we expected there. We thought it was going to be Albon on top, and I mean, what a different season it would be if Albon hadn't had all these issues, but Aiden Jackson has really benefited from it. We've benefited from it as well. I mean, Albon, when he self-spun in Bahrain, we were able to get the victory out of that, although I think we were still going to win that race. We were hunting him down in those closing laps before he made that mistake, but wow, Albon, he needs to find his confidence. I mean, what do you do if you're McLaren? When he's not crashing, he can win, but he's crashing a lot, so they're in a really awkward spot going in towards the tail end of the season. They'll have some decisions to make going into the season 7 and final season of this career mode now. But here's the standings. Jackson 22 points ahead of myself, 29 ahead of Drugovich. Norris out by 48. But yeah, all three of us there that we just mentioned really need to hope Jackson struggles in the next episode. And McLaren has closed in on the constructors, 15 points between us. Mercedes back by 66. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a great day.